Do you hear it?
Do you hear it? That is definitely how the trailer ends, by the way. So
Oh, does it say that?
One of the characters says, "Do you hear that? That's the sound of freedom."
Oh, that shit writes
Wow.
itself. Man, where's my
Yeah.
paycheck? Where's my residuals?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so
Did you see it then?
I did not, but well, I guess spoilers, because we're having a guest next week, and I don't want to talk about it then. Just because whether or not, I didn't ask the guy's political affiliation, it doesn't matter. I don't want to have a guest on and bring up this movie.
And just hit him with a shitload of irony.
Yeah. So this movie, I'll recap for Moose. I had not heard about it until I started working at the theater a week and a half ago. And apparently it's it's by Angel Studios they're the same studio that made God's Not Dead, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Gotta get it
And
right.
the TV show The Chosen. And this movie is about it's a true life or a real story about these CIA guys or whatever who stopped a child sex trafficking ring in Mexico or something along those lines. True story. All right, yes, everybody can get behind that, right? But it's apparently there's some it's got ties to QAnon backing. They fund a lot of their movies through crowdfunding, but where do the profits go and blah blah blah. And also the lead actor Jim Caviezel is a loud and proud QAnon supporter. He speaks at QAnon rallies and stuff, so it's got a lot of bad ties, but it is
He played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, if that
Yep.
helps you out.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. And it is where we're from, it's the bee's knees. People
Big deal.
love this movie. And apparently it got third in the box office for its week, up against Indiana Jones and something else
Holy
big.
shit.
It has 11,000 positive IMDb ratings, which I remarked last week that it's amazing that any movie like this can mobilize a bunch of boomers who can't open up PDFs to download IMDb, make an account, and leave a review.
Yeah.
Because you probably have to confirm an email address to finalize your account on IMDb, and they're like, "What's my iCloud email? How do I get in here?" So honestly, kudos to them to get 11,000 insane people mobilized enough to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you witness that firsthand at the theater, because it is there's so much of oh, well, I guess another thing to know is that a thing that they're pushing with this is the pay it forward system. You can go to their website and you can buy tickets for people who are less fortunate. But from my cursory look, I didn't dig too much into it, so this is just my own. I did my own research. But
For our podcast.
but on the website, it was buy a pay it forward ticket, $15. And it's just $15 across the board. But I know for a fact, tickets at the theater in our town, at most is $9, if that.
Yeah.
So I don't know
What are they
exactly
doing with the money?
how that works. But people are also thinking maybe that's why it's done so well in the box office, is because people are paying for the pay it forward tickets, but those haven't necessarily been claimed yet.
So there's probably a shitload of completely empty theater screenings that are technically
Possibly.
sold out,
Which
is very funny.
Which is part of the thing. People are saying people are buying up tickets, and there's all these empty theaters, but it's they're trying to stop us from watching the movie, so people are buying up theaters. But it's yeah, but if somebody was trying to sabotage it by buying tickets, that's supporting the movie. You're still giving money to the movie.
It's this whole idea is if you really think that the elites are all powerful and can control narratives like that, don't you think they would have just squashed this movie, period?
Yeah.
How dangerous can it really be if, like, the elites didn't? And it's like, I'm using elites in like boogeyman quotes, but I mean there are actual like sex trafficking rings. Like I feel like Jeffrey Epstein like broke people's brains, and like I sort of inarticulately said last week, it's like they're getting the wrong conclusions from like actual instances of like misconduct cover-ups, and it's like, no, it's not only like the Democrats, the demon rats are doing it. It's like they're rich, powerful people. And I feel like they just totally missed that point. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. You feel like an insane person.
I think there's a lot of from what I've heard, it's a lot of like, I don't think well-intentioned is the right word, but it's like, it's a thing that, most normal people, actually that's something that somebody came into the theater. They didn't come to watch, they weren't watching that, but they were like, oh, have any, to us around the theater, and when they were in the lobby, they were like, oh, have any of you guys watched that Sound of Freedom movie? And we're like, nope. They were like, I heard it's really good. And we're like, yeah, that's what we've been hearing.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, but really sad. He's like, it's about sex trafficking. We're like, yeah, that is a bummer. We're just trying to like, make it. Yep. And then he's like, yeah, we're all about that, us Christians. And we're like, wait,
which one? Then, which part?
and then he was like, we're against it. It's really, we think it's really bad. And then there was like a long pause, and I was just like, yeah, I think most people are against it. Yeah. Because he just was staring at us, and I was like, yeah. And then he didn't say a single word after that, and just walked out.
I think most people are. He got in his car and he wrote a note about you, and then he probably saw you take that poster too, and he's like, this guy's trying to suppress the movie.
Yep.
He took the poster.
There's people buying up theaters. There's people are saying like they're turning the AC off and leaving the lights on. I've seen a few
TikToks like
to
that.
Try to flush people out, but they're like, but we went and saw it anyways. There was a guy who like, so this sounds separate until you hear what one of my coworkers said, and I was like, oh, it could be. So this guy comes in by himself, buys a drink, buys a ticket for the movie, goes in. Maybe 20 minutes into the showtime, he comes back out. He just walks out, doing a little power walk. He slams his cup on the table or on the like concession counter, and one of the other employees is like, do you want a refill? And he's like, nope. Some lady in there just sneezed on me. See you later. Or have a good day, guys. And then he walks out. Like, and then one of my coworkers was like, he's probably going to go make a TikTok about this. And I was like, oh, you're probably right. I would not be surprised if, like, trying to add fuel to the fire of, like, oh, they're planting agents in there trying to spread, But what, is he sick of an airborne pathogen now? Are we worried that you might get sick from, other people's bodily fluids? But, who knows? He could be the rare, like, right-wing conservative who, did mask up and got vaccinated. I didn't ask, so maybe.
Yeah.
But
that's
yeah,
wild.
It's a wild time.
Some Biden supporter sneezed on me.
Yeah, it was weird. So we were like, why didn't he take his drink at least? Like,
yeah,
it was strange. It felt very like they're all about like victimizing themselves, making themselves feel like martyrs or whatever, and it's very funny from the outside. And I think that's why the movie is doing so well, because it's like that in movie form. It's like, look how troubled you are, white Americans. You're saviors of the earth.
Yeah. It's just so they just want to feel like transgressive by consuming something. It's like, yep, you're doing politics. Good job.
Yeah.
You're consuming. That's what it really boils down to.
Yeah. And I would have seen it last Tuesday. I was planning on seeing it, but we dropped it the day before. So I just saw Mission Impossible instead. And then we picked it up the day after.
Really?
Because like we got a call from the regional manager, and he basically was like, "Yeah, we're getting
The
it back."
storm is coming.
Basically, he's like, "Yeah, we're getting it back," because it is like by far the best-selling movie at the theater.
Wow.
So it supplanted the Pixar movie, and now we might not get Oppenheimer in favor of this movie.
Christ.
Oh my.
Oh.
That's the one.
Well,
it's
like
might be on the chopping block.
There's this whole subculture online on TikTok that I've seen where it's just like someone left a dollar bill in my windshield wiper. Someone was trying to like they are obsessed with human trafficking to the point where I feel like I saw someone or some post that was just like, if I hear a crying baby, I might go in and intervene and make sure that baby belongs to that parent. Or
Yeah.
like I saw a picture on Twitter of like it was like a picture taken from someone like in a car, and there was like a stroller on the side of the road, and they're just like, this just makes me so sad. And I'm like, I think they think that like that it's a sign. It's so weird. It's a gang stalking. It's people that are all probably like mentally ill on the same app convincing each other that like this dude following them in Target is actually part of some elite pedophile like sex trafficking ring, and like no, it's just like a guy like that shit does exist in some forms, yes, but like you're walking around and some guy you'd be like in the grocery store and some guy would like look over your way and then sneeze and you're like he's coming to get me.
Yeah.
It's just this mass delusion, and ultimately I feel like it hurts like the actual victims of trafficking, because now it's just like, oh yeah, that QAnon conspiracy. Like, no, it does exist, but these dipshits have like turned it into their own personal thing, and now it's just another culture war thing, when it's like, no, it really should be taken seriously, but now it's not, because bunch of Michigan militia dipshits are afraid of getting sneezed on in the theater.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So the plan now is to watch it tomorrow. So I will talk about it on an upcoming episode. From what I've heard, it's like people not in the, in crowd. It's like it's a well-made movie, it's shot well. There's a lot of like good acting and stuff. And there's some people saying like, yeah, it's it's not bad, but every scene reference I've heard sounds very like cringy. So I don't know. It could just be a boring like, okay, yeah, that was kind of weird, or it could be great. Yeah. Either way, it's gonna be a nutty, weird conspiracy QAnon movie. And speaking of, that.
Whoa.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to There Will Be Duds. This is episode 108, and I am your co-host, TJ, aka Desmond. I had to throw in some Lost reference here.
Yeah, we're really
for episode
tarnishing the
108.
Lost numbers with this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got 1082025. Anyways, and with me as always,
I am Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch, and with me, as always,
I am Tommy, aka Moose.
welcome back.
welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Is it for this one?
We'll see.
And as always, we watched a movie. That movie this week being 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus, from 2021, directed by Joshua and Simon Wesley. It is about a group of Christians. It's in the near future. COVID has taken over. There's a new one world government that's like, fascist or whatever. And
You're missing the most important part.
Communism is everywhere.
It's all over the place.
Communism is everywhere.
It's all over the place. Yeah.
Someone spilled their communism on the ground. It's all over.
And yeah, they play a group of I guess like Christian rebels. Yeah. Fighting against the world government to try to bring back Christianity and freedom to the world in the wake of a global pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
More or less, that's it. I didn't even think about us doing 2 like Christian movies in a row for our duds.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I forgot my notes. Let me go grab those real quick. I'll be right back.
Unintentional. Okay. We can well, what do you think? We can start. Because based on what little I gleaned from Nick, I don't think he dug this.
Oh, geez. So, like, I'm still jet lagged.
Sure.
and man, it was like going to church at some parts. Just the guy fucking preaching at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And at one point he started talking about like how the market needs to self-regulate or something. And it's just like the way that everything is sort of conflated into this, like, this is what Christianity is, and this is what the world is.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that narrative it was wild to behold.
Mm.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Are we doing first impressions?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Well, first I want you to imagine a big chalkboard. And at the top it says, number of days without beef. And under that, I want you to imagine a big old goose egg because this movie sucked shit. I was so bored and so mad. They should have just called this 2025 Shot Reverse Shot the movie, because that's all this entire thing was.
Okay. All right.
There was nothing. It was people sitting in a room just having the most banal, terrible conversations.
Yeah.
What if Tommy Wiseau made a COVID movie? Because that's exactly what I was half expecting him to say, like, if we all loved each other, the world would be a better place.
Okay. I gleaned from your Letterboxd review that you didn't like this. I didn't know you hated it that much. I fucking love this movie.
Oh, great.
What?
It is one of my favorite dud movies that we've done on the show.
Wow.
I think it's been a long time since Ben and Arthur. I still think I can say, like, I don't think it tops that. Maybe not even like Captain Alex, or like Love on a Leash is another really good one. But yeah, not from a filmmaking standpoint, no, but I am
truly bizarre.
I am constantly in awe of like the dialogue and the acting in this movie. It's fucking phenomenal how bad it is. It's amazing. Like, yeah, you say like Tommy Wiseau, like, I actually think these are worse actors than Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, easily. Easily.
And I even like but it's coupled with all this like this back padding and also like self-flagellation,
Yes.
like Christian talk of like we're so oppressed.
And
type shit. And
I
yeah,
feel
I
like
fucking
COVID
eat it up.
is-
It's so great.
COVID is like the backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's also a COVID movie. I knew you'd like that.
Yeah. Well, but it's like it's a COVID movie where they hardly talk about it. They refer
Yeah.
to it like as the virus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like all of the talk of like communism and like one world government.
It's more about that
That's a
stuff,
good
yeah.
point. Yeah.
But it even then it does such a dog shit job of like showing any of that.
Yeah.
Also, I love that. Like, first of all, it took me way longer than I would have liked in the movie to realize that for all of the interior shots, I'm pretty sure they just shot this like in his church or in a church.
Oh, maybe.
I
I
get
thought
the
it was like the same apartment, and that's why they were like, they always had like, this is this guy's apartment, and we have black sheets hanging up against the wall.
That's true. I think like the main base where like kind of the military guy is, that looks like like a fellowship hall in a church, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, wow, they live in a dilapidated house. No one will ever. And you go and they open the apartment. There's like lights on outside in the hallway. Like they live in a dilapidated house, but they have like gamer RGB lights for everything. Mm-hmm. It's like it's lit like a YouTube video because I think the guy does YouTube videos. It's like, oh yeah, of course. Like he probably got some like super high end camera that he uses for vlogging, and he has no goddamn idea how to use it or how to like stage anything. Like I think he breaks like what is it, the 1/3 rule? What's that rule about, like
the 180 rule or the
180?
There is a 1/3 rule too, but I think you're thinking of the 180.
I think it's the 180 rule when they're doing. He's like in the interview and he's being. It's like the opening segment. He's like in the police interrogation where he's being interrogated by the brother from Dreamer in the future.
Yeah.
And at one point he's like sitting and we're looking at him this way and then we're looking straight on. And then we look at him from the other side.
Yeah.
And it's it's like, oh, okay, this demonstrates why you don't break that rule. Or if you do, you better have a good reason for doing it. Because it was like totally off-putting and weird.
Yeah, you skipped over like the fucking raddest car chase ever.
Yeah.
Where he ends it with the saddest car like hood slide.
Yes.
Into just immediately getting arrested.
I was waiting for him to make a crack about being able to drive a stick shift. Because people who can drive stick shifts really love to rub it in.
Oh yeah.
That other people can't. I know you can.
So I was thinking until like Clea pointed out, and I was like, oh yeah, that's probably actually what it is. That like because it's, you know, this was clearly filmed in probably Germany or whatever. I think that's where the, you know, the Wesleys and the other most of the people are from. But there's some Americans in it. I was like, well, how'd they get there? But it's probably like Americans on like a military base there that maybe there's like a community church that maybe that's how they know them, or I don't know. But that's probably where they got them from. But I was thinking like originally, which makes sense because even the one that's like on their side, the like, I can't remember his name.
Is
Go figure.
H something
the
military, the kind of like
Hunter.
The guy who was like, can I stay here? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, can I play your guitar?
Yeah. So his guitar over here. They're like, yeah. Where do you live? About 20 minutes from here. Actually, I don't know where this is. About 20 minutes from here.
Do you live around here, or where do you live?
I live actually like 20 minutes. I don't even know where this place is. I'd say about like 20 minutes away from here.
But he's like, even he's like an ex-Marine. So it's like, okay, yeah, he's probably, they got him from the same place. That makes sense. Like, because I think that's like, the character is an ex-Marine, but I think the actor is also an active Marine or whatever.
That would make sense.
He's even like, I broke up with my girlfriend and left the Marines because she sided with the government. And it's just like, that's it. It's like no more, she sided with the government on something for some reason. But we don't need to know about it or anything.
Who do you think runs the Marines, dipshit?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why he left, right?
Who do you think you take orders from? Oh, yeah.
That's why he left, yeah.
I also loved that scene where he's talking to the girl who just got shot in the arm, but I guess, she's fine now, I guess. Mm-hmm. He's talking to her, and does she say that her parents died of COVID, or how did they die? Did they kill themselves? I don't remember. I feel like
I didn't catch it.
She
I
had
was asleep during that part.
She says something about her parents dying, and Hunter is like, yeah, like I can relate. Like
Yes.
my parents just like all they do is like watch the news and stuff, and it's like they're not really enjoying life. And it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely the same as being dead.
Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly how it feels to lose parents, because like my parents are 65 now, but it's like, although they're living, like they're not actually living. They all I hear, like every time I call them and stuff, they're always talking about like the government, the news, and it's like, how great is this? And it's just like, I can't bear it.
It feels like a lot of these conversations are, at least the ones where it's just them in the apartment talking to each other. It feels like the directors were like, yeah, just improvise. We're gonna, just kind of freeform conversations. But it's like, it's between these people who have never met before, and they're just trying to make small talk, but turn small talk into a full conversation, because that's how all those conversations feel. But the acting is so terrible that I am engrossed the entire time. Like that guy, like I fucking know Hunter. There's like 50 Hunters in Hastings. Like, I know those guys.
Yeah. I've run into that specific archetype before.
Yeah. But going back to the thing, I posited to her before she pointed out that they're probably just all in the military base. But I was like, if you got like a regular day rate for like a low budget movie, although who knows, this could be even lower. Like $1,000 a week. Typical film shoots are 6 days on, 1 day off. Say it takes about a month. I think that's like a good estimate for some like low budget fare like this. Mm-hmm. If you got offered the job, would you go like be in this movie? Because I definitely would. Just go hang out in Germany, get $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go spray paint some Jesus fish. Yeah, all right.
And that's gonna be like a third of the movie.
Yes.
to some like Hillsong United song or some shit.
Like the "Don't forget to remember, don't forget to remember."
Yeah, I guess those are the equivalent like sex scenes in the
That's
room.
exactly what I said to Kalia. That's exactly what I said to her. There's even the lead guy has the same cadence that Tommy Wiseau has when he's like trying to be emotional, which there's a lot of that in this. His sort of pleading, like, I'm just trying to spread the word of God. And no, it's the exact same cadence as when Tommy's doing
and you
the
stabbed me in the back.
I gave you 7 years of my life. That's exactly.
I want to make a difference. I want to change the world we're living in, and I want to make Jesus be glorified again.
There's one line that he says where he says, we are not living, we just live. We just live.
And all the multitude of like mistakes that they just leave in there.
Oh yeah.
Like
line read 1. They're like, yep, cool, got it, wrap it. Yep, that's it.
It's the Ed Wood style, like
yes,
to a T. Like even during the big, like the midpoint, his big, triumphant monologue where they're starting to spread the word, and it's playing the music over him, and he does this, I don't know, it's like a 3 or 4 minute speech where he's just doing basically just like a church sermon thing, and he's like, yeah, we gotta. He keeps saying like they're trying to control the world, and they're trying to make us feel like weak and blah blah blah. And there's the part again, in the middle of your big triumphant moment, he goes, "We gotta baguette back our country." and then like the music is like swelling as he ends his speech, and he like awkwardly slowly climbs down this ladder off of that like cement truck or whatever.
We're gonna meet, we're gonna sing, and guess what? We're gonna get back our country. We're gonna get back our freedom, and we're gonna get back our lives.
Yeah, and like he clearly had no audience.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought like it starts and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's like you see like 4 people there. And I'm like, okay, so this is like, it's a montage, right? It's when he starts, there's only a few people, but by the end of this there's going to be, a whole crowd. But if anything, there's less people by the end of it.
Yeah. He's like standing on like an oil tanker or some shit.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is.
And like oh my god. There was a part I noticed which I thought was pretty I was very surprised that it made it in the movie. It's like during the scene where they are spray painting the Jesus fish, which I thought it was funny that the colors that they chose were like the blue and the pink.
And blue.
I was like, oh, those are like the trans colors.
The trans colors. I mean, maybe that's like tied in, but I think it's like he's the boy, blue. She's the girl, pink. That's what
I guess. That's so okay.
I mean, I don't think it was trans awareness. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that.
I'd like to think that it is.
Okay, maybe.
That they just are stupid and they didn't realize what they were doing. But there's like a park bench, and on the bench it says like "fuck Jesus" on it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, but in my mind I was like, did they write that? Like the idea funny. Of him being like, "Oh no, Lord, don't look," and he writes it, and then
he's like crying. He cuts off his hand as soon as he finishes.
Yeah, there's this picture. It's one of my favorite images on the internet, but it is clearly someone. It's like this old guy who is clearly trying to rile people up, and he's clearly trying to like claim victimhood because he's like, I've been like racially like targeted, like reverse. He's trying to prove like reverse racism against white people, and he's standing in his driveway, and spray painted in the driveway it just says "Blacks rule." And it's like very clearly that like he did that, or someone because awesome. That is like not something that like that is not something that like BLM or like black people would do, because it's so weird. And but there's this picture of him, and he just has this look. He has like this really sad look on his face, and he's like holding an American flag, and it's just like you wrote that on your garage or your it reminded me of that. Just like they like self-victimized.
Yeah.
The spray painting the fish was just the weirdest thing. It was the weirdest fucking thing. And then they said to Hunter, they said, our plan is to spray the fish. We may come up with a better plan, but that's the plan for now. And that was the fucking plan. And it ended up working on the hacker.
Yes.
Because she saw, I guess, pictures of the graffiti and then Googled it, and then
that's right.
Montage
where
she looked on Wikipedia and Google Images.
Yes.
Stuff about Jesus.
As if they're in this like, sort of like what's the word I'm thinking of? Like authoritarian dictatorship world. They're not gonna like, if they're this against like religion and whatever, they're not gonna,
they have
do
Apple
some
Watches.
sort of cleaning up of, Google where you can't just Google Jesus and stuff.
Yeah.
You think there would be some sort of like blacklisting for certain
exactly.
key
They have
terms.
smartphones, they have Apple Watches, they have full internet access. Like, what part of this is dystopian?
And also, it's 2025. It's like they're acting like nobody was alive before like 5 years ago.
Oh, you mean the old times? The good old times?
Yes,
The good
I
times.
How
wrote
they
that
constantly refer to
back
that
in the
as-
good days. That's like that's like every other Facebook post status in like 2021. People are like, "Oh man, I can't wait to get back outside, back in the good old days."
We used to have worship times. We used to pray.
Back in the good days.
Yeah, back in the good days.
Back in the days.
Speaking of the hacker, a couple things. I noticed there's like a close up of her computer screen, and obviously I knew they were doing something like this, but the fact that you can see it in the shot, she's using. They just had her use this like a program. It says at the bottom of the screen, "Become a real hacker." And that's like one of those like you can go on your web browser and do like hacker, I don't know, hacker
And
screen.
it'll
fake,
pull up a
and
screen.
and then you can just like type on your keyboard and it makes it look like you're coding stuff. So but the fact that it's like in the shot and you can see it there is pretty
Damn.
great. And the other thing I want to note about her, I'm not sure, but I feel like she may have only been phonetically speaking English. Meaning like if I told you, this is how you say this word in Japanese, this is your line in Japanese, and I would verbally tell you, you could repeat it, but you don't know what you're saying. That's what I mean, like by phonetically. Because I think she had to, like, God, in a fucking sea, in an ocean, this entire globe of bad acting. There is she might be the worst, and I think it's because of that. I think it's because she literally didn't know what she was saying at any given moment.
I am Holly, and I want to help.
How did you find us here?
Nobody knows this place.
That wasn't hard. I am what you might call a hacker.
And why should we trust you? Maybe you're the sergeant's best friend.
Yeah, are you wearing a mic?
You mean Lucinda? She's an animal cracker. I know her files, the things she does. Nobody wants to be her friend.
And then there's like a scene later where she's talking with Hannah, maybe, like the lead girl, and it's in German. And I think that's the only like fully in German like conversation, even between the other, German characters.
Yeah.
Right. Another classic Wizzo-ism.
Mm-hmm.
One of their alarms went off at 6:32.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I noticed that.
Nice.
Which is like, because what time is it in the room? It's like 8:47. His alarm clock.
I almost think it's like 5:32.
Yeah, some random like,
same
some time that no one would ever set their alarm clock to.
Yeah. More about the hacker.
Mm-hmm.
When they say, "So, what kind of stuff can you hack?" And she says more or less everything. "Oh, can you hack the police?" "Yeah, if I hack the police, then I can get the phone number of every Christian, and then we can send them all a text inviting them to the worship service."
See, dude, I don't even know. Like, I don't remember this scene exactly, but just hearing you repeat the words from it is just like it's bringing such a spark of joy to my day. I love this movie so much.
It is magical in a way.
So, what kind of stuff can you hack?
More or less everything.
Even the police?
Might take an hour or two, but yes, I can get all the phone numbers of the Christians if I hack the police.
Wow.
Also, we forgot to say during the second spray painting sequence where they're it's the first time they're with Hunter and they're like, "Oh, Hunter, tell us some jokes," and he like I don't remember what the first one he says is.
It was like, what did Corona say to Jesus? And then
nothing.
He's like, get back. Or,
no, it's nothing. Because we're like, what does that mean? Is it? I figured I was like, is it because
it's not real?
It's not real. I don't know, but like they don't laugh at it. They're just like, they're just like, what? And he's like, okay, let me try another one. And then it's another like equally just basic one, and then they're like, ha 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 ha. Oh man, we're all best friends now. Isn't this great character building? It's so fucking awkward.
What did Corona do to Jesus? No. Nothing. Okay. Alright. Been alone for too long. Okay, anyway. Just keep going. What do you call a fish without an eye?
Fish without an eye.
Yeah.
Ta-dum.
Come on, Rolly. There you go. Oh, you.
Yeah. Wesley looks pissed.
Does he?
He looks mad when he said it.
Oh, because he's like, no, this movie isn't fucking about that. It's that is a good point of like what you said about how it's like not really about it. It's almost like they were kind of making this movie already, and then or like they were writing it already, and then COVID happened, and then they were like, oh yeah, let's just make the thing that, because otherwise it feels like it's just any generic sort of apocalypse scenario sort of thing, right? It is just kind of like a backdrop.
Because masks were like a huge sticking point in this like debate about COVID, and like half the people in the world government, the communist people or whatever, half of them aren't wearing masks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting, civilian not wearing a mask, get on the ground. Like, this shit is so easy. It's hacky and dumb, but it's so obvious, like the types of things you could do with a one world government taking over type movie, and they don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Like, they're wearing masks outside, and then I noticed like one of the police officer characters had their nose over the mask. I was like, oh, are they trying to make a no, they're not really. They're not really like making any sort of statement at all about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the police.
Oh yeah.
That guy who was like, these represent all of the Christians that I killed.
And he's like looking at a train or something.
Is that the leader guy, like the older guy? Yeah. Okay. The dad of the one girl who like defects because he tells her, oh yeah, it's the train thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes in this like weird train metaphor, and then she's like, okay, now I don't want to do this anymore, so I'll go with you guys. And he's like, I'm gonna go. He calls on the minister of propaganda.
Yes, the propaganda.
It's like, dude, you're the American. We're speaking your language.
So he definitely quotes Braveheart.
Yes, dude. Yeah.
He quotes Braveheart.
I forgot that.
But they can never take our freedom.
Yeah.
They may take our lives, but they will never take our freedom.
And he like says it kind of slowly. And like it was so funny watching. It's like as it was happening, Khalil was like, "Oh my God!" Like you hear they may take our lives, and you're like, "Okay, but they're not gonna say the rest of the line." And then he says it. And you're like,
then he does it. He certainly does.
And also he's like, "Yeah, we freed ourselves from dictators," and I'm like, sorry." You freed who from dictators? German?
Oh yeah, not the greatest track record. Sorry, I was skipping around and I got to the Amazing Grace rep.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Amazing Grace,
this
how
is
sweet the sound.
Like usually I'm the like benefit of the doubt corner guy, but there's really like I can't even like compliment any of the cinematography. Like this is like an extended version of just like something that we would see at like the film festival.
Yeah, right.
Where it's got like this very
drone shot.
Yep, I noticed that drone shots. It's like I'm not impressed by drone shots anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's so boring now. Like they don't do anything with it other than just like, whoa, look at the landscape. Mm-hmm. Like it's like, you know, you post it on your YouTube channel like epic drone footage and you put that sort of dubsteppy music underneath it and like, yeah, it's not impressive anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like there were like a few times where they were trying to be cute with the cinematography. Like I think it's like the first time that they go up to do the spray painting before they meet Hunter, and there's like one where I feel like they did a lot of tracking shots, and there's one where he's like going up the steps and like the camera is like kind of tracking with him, and it's like, oh, okay, they're trying to do something interesting here. Mm-hmm. It's dumb and bad.
Yeah, I think it is kind of like reminiscent too, because like everything that's not that stuff is just that like reverse shot, like no finesse to the conversations. And then it's like, okay, now we're gonna go outside, we're gonna do the spray painting, or we're gonna do the, you know, the big speech, or we're gonna do the like one or two little action scenes. And it's like, okay, they're actually like trying to do stuff here. And you know, they've got, you know, their drones, or they got like, you know, they're doing some fancy stuff, and it's like, okay, it's different, you know, it's like, it's not just like on a tripod, you know. That's the closest I could get to like complimenting, is like, at least it's different. They're maybe trying.
Well, the only times they really do that outside of like those other scenes, it's like whenever they do basically the extended music videos for these like almost full songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes like the song will crossfade into ominous music for like a second, like they go into a tunnel. Mm-hmm. And then they come out of the tunnel and it just crossfades right back out, and it goes from ominous music to like Hillsong United, like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What would you call this? I mean, this acting style. I know it's like bad. It's bad, but it's unique.
Unique is a good word. Yeah. This is avant-garde hyper-realism.
Where characters playing characters, man. It goes deeper. Like I'm just skipping around the movie, and I'm at the scene where like their like defector guy kind of comes back and basically is just like,
oh, I fucking love that guy.
And it's supposed to be this scene where Hunter is supposed to be mad at this guy. Because this guy is like telling him, like, you guys should probably stop. And Hunter's like, yeah, I lost my job and I lost my girlfriend. But it's just like the cadence at which it's like so obviously reading lines. Like there's nothing else behind it.
Right now, I don't have any freedoms. I have to ask permission. We all have to ask permission to do anything around here. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my job with the Marines. I can't do anything anymore.
And the way that he just looked at the camera. Like, they look in the camera all the time.
Yeah. I can't remember where it is, but there's a scene where
the main girl is, like, staring into it. I think she's talking to Wesley, but she's, like, staring directly into the camera. But he's, like, clearly off to the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's pretty early on.
There's this extended shot of the lead guy where he almost looks at the camera the entire shot. I don't remember where it is, but yeah, speaking of the defector friend, I love the scene. It's either right before or after that where he comes back, and he's like, they're like, okay, we need you to tell us where their hideout is, and he's like, okay, but if I do that, I need to make sure that I can be granted immunity from all charges or whatever. And they're like, granted. And he goes, nice. Okay.
Yes.
I want immunity. I can grant it. Nice. So.
And then immediately he's like, okay, this is where they are. You can go kill my friends.
No moral quandaries there.
Nope. Well, it's because he's not Christian anymore, I guess.
Right. Yeah,
and you have to be a Christian to have morals. So.
Yeah, as soon as you lose that,
demonstrated.
you're gonna kill all your friends. You don't even care.
Yeah. Right.
You two can get a train for killing Christians, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so funny that that's like this movie's attempt at metaphor. Is just, yeah. I'm trying to figure out where it is. It looks like it might be in like a garage or something like that. But everything is bathed in blue and purple.
Yeah,
and
there is some.
It's like they're pumping in fog machines to give it this like misty sort of. And it's like it looks like they got cameras that are like good.
Yeah.
And they just.
But they just don't know how to light it.
No, they just don't know how. Yeah, they don't know how to stage anything. They don't know how to block anything. Like, I guess some of the scenes where they're moving around like outside are okay, but it doesn't really like serve anything. Like, I've been trying to watch movies more with like cinematography in mind. Like, what are you trying to say with the camera? Like, what is the point of this? Like, what is the point of this shot? What are you trying to convey with this shot? Whose POV are we at? Like, you know, is the camera like a neutral thing, or what is it trying to do? And this movie is just so bland and uninspired. Again, it's like, I can tell this guy is a YouTuber because YouTubers love to just like get copious amounts of gear that they have no idea how to use.
Yeah.
And this screams that.
For sure.
Just bathe everything in like bisexual colors.
Yeah, there's also like the editing too is it really just like everything, but the editing like makes for some like unintentionally comedic moments in a different way than like, you know, just the acting being bad, you know, haha, bad acting. Like, namely, there's a couple moments with like the women in particular where like how quickly it's edited, it just comes off as like dudes just do not listen to women in this. Like the part where Hunter's like, can I use your you know, you got a guitar over there, do you mind if I play it? And she's like, yeah, and he's immediately just playing it. Like he didn't even wait for a response. And then there's like, I don't know, there's some other parts with like the girl in the, like the blonde girl that like the love interest for the lead who's like working with the military for a while or whatever. And there's like some bits with her where it's like she responds but like nobody acknowledges her.
Sometimes I try to. I'm not very good.
Yeah, it just takes practice, really.
I'm so tired. Chief has me working all week. I'm gonna go grab a snack.
I know, it's very stressful right now.
But then I think my favorite one of like the editing sort of jokes, which is not a thing about, you know, women. It's okay. So the opening, we open the movie in media res, in this, you know, high octane car chase, and his car, like the front like corner bumper is kind of like hanging off, like it was like damaged. You think, you know, it's car chase. He probably ran into something or he bumped something, but then it almost seems like intentional, but it can't be. You get to we skip back 3 months or whatever, 3 weeks maybe, and then we get to the end of the movie and we're back at the car chase, and what do we find out? The car already was damaged before he even got to it.
Yep.
He just picked a damaged car.
Which is funny because like there's a part where he throws like a block through a car window, so clearly like they had a car that they could junk a little bit. I'm surprised they didn't like, you know, pick one that they could have like actually, you know, crashed into something a little bit.
Yeah. That might be why that was already damaged, because they did just buy like, oh, we just need a junker car that we can just kind of trash. And then I don't know if this is much an editing thing necessary. I mean, it's editing / writing, but there's the like random scene where they're doing like a kumbaya like campfire sing along thing. I can't remember what they're singing, but there's a part where
Amazing Grace at first.
Oh, they're doing Amazing Grace. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then they do Our Father,
How Great Thou Art.
How Great Thou Art. That's it. And you know, there's a part where they like in between the song, we're like, oh, we shouldn't be doing this. If we get caught, or if the police finds us, then we can get arrested. And then you know, our intrepid hero Roy, I keep meaning to look up his name, Roy, is like, no, we can't let them tell us what to do. We need to, you know, stand tall and keep singing. And then the police show up, and he fucking dips, and everybody else gets arrested. And he was the one who was like, no, we have to stand tall.
and then they have this extended like drone scene of him like on his knees, and he's like, like
yeah.
He's the hot dog. And I think you should leave. He's like, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. It's just like, why did my friends get arrested? Who could possibly have done this? Who told them to stay out in the field singing? Who?
Yeah. Okay. It seems like a good thing to kind of wind it down. Unless you guys have anything else. I had a little discussion, I don't know, a little fun thingy I came up with while watching this. I thought that anytime we have to do Christian movies from now on, we can put them to the kind of similar to like the Bechdel test.
All right.
We got to put them to the Dreamer test, to see if they pass the Dreamer stipulations of like what makes a good and true Christian movie. And sadly, I don't think this makes the cut.
Oh.
It's you can't have any drugs, which I think this one passes. I forget if there's no swearing. I don't remember that. I think so. And then the one that I think this fails. I mean, there's definitely guns in this, but it's like you can't have guns.
Yeah, she gets shot in the arm.
Yeah, okay, there is. I was like, maybe you can give it a soft pass if
in the ending.
If they don't. Oh yeah, right, the ending. Yeah, I was like, if they didn't fire the guns, maybe you can kind of give it a pass. But yeah. Sadly, this does not. This isn't a Christian movie, I guess, according to Dreamer. So
too many guns.
Yeah, I don't remember if there was any other rules to it, but yeah.
Yeah, that ending is I part of me wonders if they either ran out of time or they just didn't know how to end it, because I mean kind of like, sure, it is like an abrupt ending, but not too far out of left field given the preceding 90 minutes. Yeah.
But also again,
that martyrdom.
Christians love making themselves into martyrs. Fictional, you know, like he wouldn't actually do this. This guy wouldn't actually do this, but he can write a movie where he's like, yeah, dude, I would totally fucking die for Christianity.
It's basically the same thing.
I would definitely do that. Don't actually test me. I would totally do it. Yeah,
do it in
so it kind
Minecraft.
of fits. And then he gets fucking domed, and then special thanks to our Lord Jesus Christ.
Special thanks to our Lord Jesus Christ.
Just this like super like cynical, bleak ending, and then blooper reel.
Yeah, the blooper reel. That's right. Forgot that.
Yeah, at first I thought that this movie was a parody.
Seems like it. Seems like it could be.
But
there's a digital police effect.
Digital police effect, like
They're,
the police
like,
lights.
Yeah, when I'm looking at the end again, when he's like getting arrested, there's just like it's almost like a lens flare. They just have blue, like flashing on the screen.
Oh, I see. Do you guys think if this movie was, if they didn't, because obviously they did this because fucking Americans eat this shit up. I don't know if they ate this shit up, but Americans eat Christian movies up. Do you think if they hadn't have like tried to pander to us and just done this in German and like written it in German, do you think it would have been like any other Christian movie? Because I don't know. I still I was really trying to pay attention to that scene where the girls were speaking to each other in German. I'm like, I still think it's bad. I still think they're like pretty bad.
Yeah, they might be like marginally better actors in their native tongue, but not by much.
Well, the part where they were speaking in German, it was a repeat after me kind of situation, and they were praying. So it was like, Lord Jesus Christ, I accept you into my life. Lord Jesus Christ, I accept you into my life. And they actually filmed both of them saying the whole thing.
Yeah. So it's not the best example of like how the script writing was, at least. But I was trying to look at but I mean, I guess the people who are native English speakers were not good actors.
Yeah.
So
people on Letterboxd kept saying that Hunter was drunk.
I said that like they were just high the entire time, and that's why their apartment is so smoky the whole time. I was like, that would make sense for some of their acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he definitely has like a glazed over look to his eyes, so I could believe that. Yeah. He's like trying to, he's like, yeah, sweet, I'll do this movie with all these German honeys, but then he's like, fuck, I forgot, it's a Christian movie. It doesn't work like that. Damn it. Okay, and then I guess the last thing I really feel the need to bring up is a bit of a downer. It's a bit of a grossy thing to bring it down.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so the lead actor, the character Roy, which is Joshua Wesley, I think, yeah, and Layla, the blonde girl who like defects from the military, are married in real life. But apparently they met when she was, and sure, I guess make what arguments you want about the age of consent being different in Germany, but she was 14 when they met, and he was her like youth group like church leader, and he was like 18 or 19, and he like, this was in 2020 or 2021, he like made this like Instagram post that's like, finally 18, can't wait for this woman to be my future wife. Like, they were engaged, and then he like made a post about how she like turned 18.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that on Twitter way before I even knew about this. Because I think he took the post down. You can't find it anymore.
Yeah, I had to find it like on some other article. Some had like saved it or whatever.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah, it is. because I was just curious. I was like looking up, just trying to look up like any sort of behind the scenes. 'Cause I was like, that girl.
Was that
I was like,
in the
that girl.
IMDb trivia?
Yeah, no. No, I just thought, I was like, man, that girl looks really young. Like, she looks way younger than him. And she's not super, like, I think that guy, he's only like 20. He's either like 22 or 24 here in like the time of the movie was. So, he looks like he's like 30, but yeah. So there's that. Like, even less of a reason to like really support this movie, which is like why it's hard for me to. That's the only thing that's like makes me feel weird about being such a like full throated like I love this movie, because like it's, you know, it's pushing all this like terrible agenda that I hate, that I abhor. And all these people are probably just like, you know, believing all this terrible shit. Oh, and also the lead actor / co-writer and director is like a groomer. So
yeah,
there's that too.
I think one of the Letterboxd reviews was like, this is the best movie I've seen made by a pedophile since X-Men Apocalypse or something like that.
Yeah, okay. Do you guys got anything else to say?
I don't think so.
Let me carrying us for a while, but
one thing I wondered if near the end, when it segues back into the police interrogation, the music fades in like mid-song, and part of me wonders if he literally just took the scene from like the beginning of the movie, cut it, and then moved it all the way. Like, I'm picturing his like Adobe Premiere workflow, and he just like cut it and moved it to the end, but didn't bother like changing any of the audio shit around. So, because like that happens many times where I feel like songs kind of fade in and out, and cinematic music fades in and out at random times.
Yeah.
And it's just so bizarre. And also, I noticed all of the fonts are like the Adobe Premiere like default font.
Yeah.
So
sure.
it's incredibly lazy in that way too. Like, you couldn't even pick a different font. Just like open it up, text editor. Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
That's all though.
Okay. All right. I'll start us off because I feel like I've kind of, you know, parted the kimono already. Yeah. This is a 100% bona fide spud in my eyes. I don't know. Is there a particular brand of German potato? Whatever it is, it's that. Yeah, like I said, it's one of the better dud cut movies in my eyes. Don't know exactly where I would place it. Again, it's not quite like a Ben and Arthur type deal, but it's, you know, it's up there with some of the better ones. Yeah, I love the acting, the writing. I think it's all just exceptionally terrible. It's like the cream of the crop of bad. For both of those aspects. Yeah, like I said, I honestly think it gives Tommy Wiseau a run for his money in terms of those you know, those aspects at the very least.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a spud for me.
I think I'm also gonna go with a spud, even though my personal experience was more aligned with a dud.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what edges it out into spud territory is the fact that I think that the writers and directors were very passionate about this issue, and that is like the number one thing for these types of movies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that like the intent behind it, regardless of skill level, was like 100% there. It was very authentic, None of it was like tongue in cheek. Like, you know, you wouldn't believe it based on their acting abilities, but I do think that like they believed everything that they said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that is like the perfect recipe for like a spudly dud like this. So I'm gonna go with Spud. I was very, very irritated by the reverse shotness of this, where a lot of it was just people sitting in a room talking about spray painting fishes. And it was very, very stupid. But the weird ass Tommy Wiseau nature of the lead dude was pretty captivating, if not like in an incredibly annoying way. So yeah, it just ekes out as a Spud, but it's a Spud.
Wow. Y'all are overthinking it. This movie sucked. This is a dud for me.
Okay. Welcome back home. Watch this piece of shit.
Yeah, I as I was watching the movie, I felt sorry for myself. That I
had an out of body experience.
That. Yeah. Yeah, my laptop had died because it wasn't plugged in and charging, and at first I didn't realize what the problem was, and I was thinking, is this another bedeviled moment where I watched the fucking movie and then I don't get to actually participate in the podcast?
Oh no, I forgot about that.
But no, we survived, so I feel like it's my duty now that I have this opportunity to say this movie fucking sucks and I hate it. During the part where they were like coming up with the plan to hack the police and then get all the phone numbers of all the Christians and then invite them all to church, like they said they came up with that plan, and then I kind of dozed off for like 5 minutes, and then I woke up and they were like, okay, good plan, guys, let's do it. and I was like, oh, I guess they changed the plan. No, they hacked the police, they got the Christians' phone numbers, and they texted them all, invited them to church. So like that 5 minutes that I slept through, what were they doing in that time? What were they talking about?
I missed all the character building moments.
Yeah, I think this movie does build character, in the sense that you, for us who watch it,
in the way that Camp Green Lake builds character in the kids who dig the holes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you definitely have a thicker skin after watching this movie.
Yeah, no, dud. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Damn. I honestly thought it was going to be switched between you guys.
Oh, yeah. I did come in kind of hot.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I think it's because I was tired, and I was just sitting on the couch, and like in between one of the music video interludes, it went right back to like a scene of people sitting, and I think I was just sitting there, and I was just like, just like closing my eyes, like, God damn it, not another one of these like 6-minute conversations. Yeah, I had ads in my viewing experience, and I was like, I embraced them. Like they take me in their sweet embrace of death. Just, yes, tell me about Swiffer Wetjet.
The weirdest reviews for me on Letterboxd are like not the 5-star one. Sure, somebody will do that ironically, but it's the people who give it like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Then that feels like they got some merit out of it. I'm like, no, this is either a 1 or a 10. There's like no in between.
Yeah. We did.
Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of no in between. Oh, we don't do this usually. Yeah, speaking of no in between, here is not an ad break. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
For this post episode chat discussion, I think I'm just gonna bounce.
Okay.
I'm jet lagged and I'm about to pass out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I don't think that I would be able to contribute anything meaningful to the conversation.
Okay.
At this point.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
I think that's why you. I think get a good night's sleep. Watch 2025 again tomorrow.
Maybe so.
Fresh eyes, baby.
All right. You guys
All right.
easy.
Okay. Yeah. You too.
See ya. Okay. Yeah. Emmy nominees dropped, or as I like to call them, the HBO nominees.
Boom.
Dropped. I don't know. Have you looked at the list at all?
I did. I scrolled through like half of it when when I saw you put it in the thing. I don't know what it is about. Like I watch a lot of TV. I mean, not as much with as I do with movies, but I watch a lot of TV. But it's just how they do the nominees. I just stopped. I just closed out of it halfway through. I just don't have much interest in the Emmys. There's too much there's too many subcategories. It's like the Grammys. Every time I'm aware enough to be oh, the Grammy nominees. I mean, that's also because the Grammys even less so can I relate to the picks because I'm an indie boy.
Right.
And, my picks don't get in there. But it's not best scripting for reality show, best comedy or stand up or comedy. They get so specific with the things.
The Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show starring Rihanna is up for best variety special.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. It's way easier to watch every. I mean, it's still tough if you want to do every single one, but it's easier to be okay, here's the best picture nominees for the Oscars. It's way easier to watch those than watch every TV show that's nominated for best drama.
Yeah, yeah, because some of these are a huge investment.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess I only really wanted to hit on a few of them, or I guess I had a few points.
Mm-hmm.
Point number one is I'm totally anticipating Better Call Saul being snubbed for everything, even though I watched Succession, I watched The Last of Us, and I watched White Lotus.
Yeah, that's funny.
Barry? I guess Barry is in there. I watched Barry.
Comedy, I think.
Which is
drama.
Which is hilarious because season 4 is the furthest away from comedy that show has ever been. To the point where season 4 you could almost classify as horror in some ways, and some of the ways that it's done.
I wonder, is this for the most recent season? Because I wonder if this is for season 3 of Succession. Because that's the other thing that always fucks me up with Emmy nominations is because it's right in the middle of the year. Succession just ended. It might be, but Better Call Saul was last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. In order to be eligible for this year's awards, TV shows had to have been aired between June 1st, 2022 and May 31st, 2023.
So it might be the last season. I don't remember when Succession ended, but I feel like it was June. Maybe not, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I know. Here's the thing. I think it does qualify because I remember listening to a podcast with Bill Hader talking about Barry, and he said that they released the first 2 episodes of Barry on the premiere night, so by the time it was done it would qualify for the Emmys or something along those lines. Okay. And Barry and Succession ended the same day.
Right. Okay.
So okay. I because I don't know. It's tough. I feel like Succession has the most
that's
noms.
What I'm expecting to take.
And it was good. They stuck the landing, I think. I did really enjoy it. There were some really, really good moments in it. But again, I feel like it's that show of the moment, and I don't think it has the sort of longevity that a show like Better Call Saul, and maybe it's because Better Call Saul is tied into Breaking Bad, which was this huge cultural phenomenon. I feel like, you know, history is going to show that Better Call Saul is like the better show of a lot of these. Even White Lotus, which I really enjoyed, but I can really see Succession and White Lotus like taking, or The Last of Us. The Last of Us is kind of a dark horse where,
yeah. And
if they sweep, I'm not gonna be stoked about that. Because I thought it was fine.
I'm in the camp of like maybe something for Better Call Saul because it's like the last thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not holding my breath. I will not be surprised if it gets again completely snubbed. I'm in the camp of like it's probably going to be Succession is going to get a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Ray Seahorn being snubbed for that last half of Better Call Saul is going to be a tough pill to swallow, because I feel like she acted her ass off in the later Better Call Saul episodes.
Yeah.
And she's going to lose to like Sarah Snook.
Jennifer Coolidge or something. No, she's in supporting actress, and Sarah Snook is lead.
Okay. Oh.
She's up against 5 people from the White Lotus in supporting. There's 8 nominees for supporting actress in a drama series, and 5 of them are from the White Lotus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's nuts. And then Ray Seahorn, someone from Succession.
Oh, that's Jerry.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And then someone from The Crown.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be another night of Abbott Elementary taking all the comedy ones, and then...
Jesus, it's better than... Holy shit. Best Supporting Actor. There's also 8. 4 of them are from the White Lotus, and the rest are from Succession. So 2 shows make up the entire 8.
And like,
that's insane.
F. Murray Abraham and Michael Imperioli.
Yeah, like...
No.
What did
like,
they do?
I like
Theo James. He was maybe my favorite of the ones nominated.
Matthew McFadden, I would be okay if they gave it to him.
That would be cool.
Didn't he take it last year? I think he took it last year too.
Or Nicholas Braun.
Yeah. But Matthew McFadden, you know what? Now that I'm looking at this, and the way that season 4 went, I think Matthew McFadden will probably take it, and I'm okay with that. He was very good.
Cool.
He is he gets like the most tragic lines of that show. He is just such a... I think in season 4 he refers to himself as like a pain sponge, where he just takes it all in.
That sounds like him. Yeah.
Alan Ruck actually had a really, really good scene in season 4 too, that was just like completely devastating because of like his character in Succession is just, you know, he's the firstborn, but he's also like not really interested in all the like owning the company shit with his other siblings.
Yeah.
And he has this moment where he's like, yeah, well, I don't need love. That's my superpower because I've never gotten it, so I don't need it. And it's like, oh God. Yeah. But Matthew McFadden probably.
Yeah, I mean, I like the show. I really like the White Lotus too. So it's tough because like obviously I like Better Call Saul more than both of those.
Yeah.
So, you know, in a lot of categories I would give it to that over those, but like on the other hand, those are also good shows. So it's weird because it's like it's weird that there's an entire category of 8 nominees and it's 2 shows. When it's like, you know, supporting actor, Tony Dalton for Lalo Salamanca. I can't think of his name.
Howard Hamlin.
Howard Hamlin.
Oh, Nacho.
Yeah.
Nacho
Even-
scene.
or-
That scene is one of
Where-
the best scenes in the.
His
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Giancarlo Esposito. I feel like
Yeah.
Jonathan Banks would be like he could maybe do lead. Although if they gave Ray Seahorn supporting, maybe he would also be a supporting.
Yeah.
She's a little whack. I feel like she deserved. Maybe not if it's just for the last bit, because a lot of that is just Jimmy. Or Gene.
Saul, Gene.
So I guess she's not in the final bit quite as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. We'll report back probably after the Emmys.
After the Emmys,
And we'll be like, this stupid awards show is dumb.
I'll briefly mention the newest Mission Impossible just to get it out there while it's hot off the presses. Dead Reckoning Part 1 was good. I definitely didn't like it as much as Fallout, the previous one. That's probably my favorite. It's been a long time since I've seen any pre-4. So like 1 through 3, it's been a while since I've seen any of those.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like Fallout's gotta be my favorite. But it's still good. Like, it's, not many movies do action like Tom Cruise movies. They really know how to deliver on the spectacle, and there's no shortage of that in this one by any means. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it was like lacking some of the emotional weight and sort of the mystery drive in Fallout. I really liked. There's like a mole, like one of the people in our unit is a double agent type thing, and trying to figure that out. And there's always like deception and espionage in a Mission Impossible movie. But I just liked how it worked in that a lot. In this one, something I really, really did like is that it's basically they're trying to find a key that will lead. They don't know what it does though, but they know that they need the key. And that's kind of more or less the whole driving point of the movie. But also, this other guy, this mystery man, also wants the key. And also this other thing, they call the entity, also wants the key. And also there's some like Interpol agents that are trying to arrest Ethan because like the government is trying to stop him. And so there's multiple action set pieces where there's like 3 different forces all trying to stop, Ethan Hunt and like the main crew. So it makes for these really good, really like tense things where like it's like, oh, we have to be, we're trying to get this thing, but also we have to be on the lookout for like, in every different angle for like all, and it does that really well. Like this balancing act of like, how do we, maneuver multiple different adversaries. And there's like a sequence in an airport in particular was really great where it's just every different thing has like a different kind of solution or different obstacle to get over. And I think it handles that stuff really well. And then the whole finale thing was cool too. Like the final like action set piece, it's on a train, which is kind of reminiscent of the first one, but it is, and they are, it's in the title, it is a part 1, so and it does the most I think it does a better job of like feeling like a part 1 but also feeling like a complete movie than like Dune or how I felt about Across the Spider-Verse. And that's like in spite of it having like the most like part 1 ending ever, where it's like a little brief monologue of like, all right, we did this thing and now next step is we got to do this thing, and then the camera like zooms in on like basically the next target and then cut to black. So it's like literally like a lead in to this is what they're gonna go do next. Like
it functions as its own movie up until they're like, and here's what's coming next.
Yeah.
Okay. I really need to revisit them because I think 3 is the only one that I've seen. And
No, you said you saw Ghost Protocol, right?
Isn't that Ghost Protocol or is that
That's
4?
4. That's 4.
I've seen Ghost Protocol then.
Okay. The first 3, I think, were just they didn't have subtitles. It was just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
definitely
third one though, Philip Seymour Hoffman's the bad guy.
Yes, I knew about that. Yeah. I'm slowly being consumed by that Doom mod. Now I'm reading the book that it was based off of.
You did? Okay.
And it's wild.
It did look really. I finished the video, and
okay.
Yeah, that book did have me intrigued, because it seems like Finnegan's Wake, but more accessible.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of those books that like there's like footnotes for footnotes for footnotes.
Yeah.
Type of deal. But there's like a main voice, this guy who like is completing the work from someone else who died, and he's sort of like editorializing. We're talking about House of Leaves. I guess this will be part 1 of that. Just very briefly. It almost reminds me of like John Dies at the end, where it's like it starts out with his buddy calling him at 3 a.m. It's like, hey, something happened, and he's like, I wish I had never gone. It has ruined my life. I wish it's very much like them finding the soy sauce, essentially.
Okay.
But you know, if you read some weird shit that doesn't make sense, you'll see him in the footnotes being like, yeah, I don't know why this is in here. So it's kind of got that levity where like the main like editor / narrator is just like, yeah, this is some whack shit. Or like there's certain passages that I've read, and then the footnote will be like, yeah, this is the gist of it. You probably could have skipped all of that. So it's like, it's got a sense of humor about itself. But I'm just now starting to get to like the weird, like there's like stuff that's struck through. And then it's the kind of book where like, as you go along, you have to read it upside down, or like there's just like stuff written in the margin. So it gets real artsy fartsy.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's fun though.
Yeah. And it's crazy that like a book from 2000 really was tapped in on the idea of like liminal spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Because the part of the video where like they go down like the big long corridor and then find the huge hole in the ground with the stairs and shit, that's like directly from the book.
This like the 6-minute hallway or whatever.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm reading House of Leaves. It's a pretty wild ride, but it's really interesting and really good so far. It says it's like 700 pages, but a lot of those pages have maybe 2 words on them. Like
right.
There's a lot of like blank pages with like empty spaces. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would like to check that out sometime.
Yeah.
Also one last brief thing that kind of reminded me of like dipping into, I mean, an older one, not too old, but surrealist media. I watched another Cecilia Condit movie today. I watched like a video about Possibly in Michigan, and it was like, oh, it's actually a sequel to a different short film she made called Beneath the Skin. So I checked that out, and it's not so much a story. It's mostly like a series of like there's like close-ups of this woman's face, and then there's like other faces like superimposed over it or whatever, or like a girl like kind of writhing around on the ground, or like footage of like I guess actual corpses.
Cool.
But it's all narrated, like there's like a voiceover narration over all of it, and that's mostly the whole thing. Apparently that, and Possibly in Michigan, and then there's another movie too after another short film, is about like this real experience where she was dating a guy, who, like, as she was living with him, he was a murderer. He was a serial killer, and this is like actual like Cecilia Condit. She like because of some like she had like a concussion or she had to take some medication or something, so she didn't have a sense of smell. But he was literally like stashing the body of his most recent victim like in their house or something while she was living with him, and like she slept in the blankets that he like used to wrap the body and stuff, and a lot of like fucked up shit. The guy's called the Unicorn Killer is his like his name, I guess. I didn't look too into him specifically, but basically that's what those movies are about, is like her kind of experience with that. And I'll say this,
shit.
Beneath the Skin, also, there's only one song in it, but she's got them bops. She's really good at these like catchy, weird songs. Yeah, so I just wanted to shout that out since we kind of hailed her previously.
Yeah, man, what a wild life that would be, to be married to someone like that.
Yeah. Okay, and now comes the time where for next week's movie. Next week, we're gonna have a guest on, Dr. Josh Matthews from the YouTube channel Learning About Movies. I reached out to him about coming on. He said yeah. And the movie he picked for next week is from 1976, directed by Sidney Lumet. It's Network.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch that one.
Yeah. So, if you don't want to be spoiled for it, for Network, it looks like it's for rent on a lot of stuff. YouTube, Amazon, Redbox, Apple TV, some other stuff too. So watch it, one of those, if you don't want to be spoiled for it. I may have said that already. Before next week's episode, and these episodes come out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST on Twitch and YouTube in video form, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more in audio form. We also have social pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And with all that said, I can't. Yep, that was a good take. Let's use it. I'm TJ, aka J Spot, Jack Cheese, and with me as always.
As always, I am your. I'm your communist all over the place. Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch.
And as always, I'm Moose, and I actually do love this movie, and I was wrong before. I apologize. I don't know what I was saying.
Yeah. That was a good take.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. All right.